Hi, it's David Smith. So I thought this week, even though we'd done Frankenstein the other week as a cartoon form, what I'd said I would do is do some more realistic stuff as well. So what I've got here at the moment is probably the most famous Frankenstein's monster that there was, Boris Karloff. Certainly this is the one that terrified me when I was a kid. But I just love how cheesy it comes across now and how it looks. But I say, when you see this as a child, it was absolutely terrifying. But so I thought what I'd do is a realistic version of old Boris. So let's grab a scrap bit of paper here, some printout, so I don't keep rubbing the lines. So I've just basically have a quick sketch of what I'm after. So I've got something to work to loosely. It'll come across quite light in the, well, should I say, it probably comes across a little darker than I would normally do this, but that's so you can pick that up on the camera. If you were drawing this at home, I would advise doing it an awful lot lighter than this. So just like in the other videos, what I'm looking to do, or how I tend to work, is I will go in to the darker areas first and start picking out some of that detail. Now I don't go in with the full darkness at this stage. I'm just trying to get myself some of the key elements in there, try and get the eyes correct. So because it's going to be a full-on drawing, I've got all my pencils all sharpened up, ready to go. And the sharpeners on hand should I require it again. So I'm going to make these eyes a lot darker as I go, but what I'm trying to do at the moment is slowly build up the values of the darkness. That way you don't overcook it by going in with your full blacks straight away. And then find you've got nowhere to go with it. At least if you build it up slowly. You can always go back in, darken areas that you need to darken. At least this way it'll give you a start building up the structure of the face. It's often quite difficult as well when I'm doing these videos because A, I'm not trying to get in the way of, or I'm trying not to get in the way of the camera. B, because the angle I have to have the camera at, it often picks up reflections on the paper, so to try and see past the reflections I'm scared my head will bob in the way of the camera, so I apologise if that happens. I'm just picking up a bit of reflection at the moment. It's always more difficult come this time of the year because as we hit the winter months, where I draw in my dining room, I tend to, or the light's not great at this time of year, so I have to rely on the lighting rig that I use, all the more when it's like this time of the year. So just what I'm going to do initially is put some of the key features in. I'll then stop the video and start again. What I'll do is then I'll speed that part of the video up. So rather than you watch me for what could be several hours, colouring old Frank in, I just wanted to put some of the main areas in, just remind you of the process before I then launch into speeding the video up. So put those eyes in. Now it's obviously, because it's very heavily lidded, the actual eyeball as well is going to be quite dark, but you've got to be able to still see that differential between the eyeball and the iris itself. So thank you to the people who've taken the time to like the videos which we've done, the monster series. By all means, please keep coming in the suggestions. I've had quite a few suggestions come in via Twitter as well, about potentially doing the monster from Alien. I suppose if you start bringing in things like that, the Predator's a possibility as well. But please put your suggestions in there. I also, when I've been looking through the analytical part of YouTube, or the analytics as they refer to it, there's an awful lot of you out there who are watching the videos who haven't yet subscribed, lurking around. So if you get a moment, please hit subscribe. The numbers would massively go up if you were to do that, and I would very much appreciate it. It also mean me getting an awful lot closer to my 1,000 subscriber mark, which I'm striving to get this year. Hopefully then that can obviously start to monetize the actual page itself and allow me to do more videos, hopefully to a better standard as well, as I update some of the equipment. So it will be a cause and effect. Anything that I do make will be getting reinvested into the videos. So let's say please subscribe, and if you have done already, thank you. If you can drag anybody else along for the ride, do that as well if you wouldn't mind. But equally important as the subscribes are the thumbs up and the comments. All those things are counted via the YouTube algorithm. So let me have your input, let me have your questions, suggestions, even if it's not for monsters. Have a look through the other videos if there's anything that you'd like me to cover. Again, like last year as well, if you want me to cover a video on you're wanting to buy for somebody who's getting into art and you're wanting to buy some equipment, I can do a video on that as well, of the type of equipment that I use. Happy to pass that any advice on that I can possibly give. So back in with the blending tool on this now. So as you can see, I'm just kind of building up this eye area, because as with all the portraits that I do, I find that once I'm happy with the eye area, as long as that part of it's right, everything else seems to drop into place then at that point. So it's quite rough at the moment because there's obviously a lot of this face to block in. A lot of it is in shadow, but then as I go back over it, I'm going to start putting in texture onto the skin. Obviously with Frankenstein's monster, the skin, I suppose it obviously was from corpses and things like that, so it's not going to be at its best. There's decomposition in there, decay, so as you start working into the skin, developing the detail on there, you can start putting in those little age spots, pot marks and stuff, and you'll work into the skin and put that kind of level of detail in. So all that'll happen in due course. So as I've mentioned, people ask me on Twitter, if you use Twitter, by all means follow me on there as well. I'm quite active on Twitter. Pick up a lot of my work, a lot of the stuff I'm working on at the moment has come via Twitter. So currently I'm working on children's books, which I'm at the cleaning up stage, inking in and things like that, ready to start applying the colours. So I'm at that stage with the books. Also trying to work on Christmas commissions as well, from established customers who come to me most years now, pick up Christmas commissions, so that can be of family members, pets, a bit of everything really. So if you look on the main description of the video, you'll see the links to my Facebook page, Twitter page, so by all means check it out. You can also have a look via the website as well at some of the other commissions I've done in the past, and if it's something that you might fancy in the future, there's an email what you can use there to contact me. So by all means fire me an email across if there's something you might want me to have a look at in the future. So as you say, it's slowly building up the detail now. And then smoothing some of the graininess out with the blending tool before then going back in, putting the texture in. So obviously because the light's coming down as well onto the top of the face, the bottom of the nose is quite heavily in shadow as well, but you've still got to make sure, just like I've mentioned on numerous videos now, that you don't get too black underneath here. There's always still that touch of light what bounces back up off the surfaces, catches the bottom, around the edges of the nostril, just underneath the nose here. It's not pure white, so don't make it as such, but do make it slightly lighter in this area at the back, and then that will give that 3D effect, what you're trying to achieve. Again, you can build these values up slowly. I'm working on this a lot quicker than I normally would for the purposes of the video. But I know after the video stopped rolling, I can iron a few of the discrepancies out anyway, so don't rush it, have a go. And it's all about, once you establish yourself as when you start doing this as an artist, you're going to get out of your comfort zone sometimes with the things that you draw, but you don't learn if you don't push yourself as well. So, as I mentioned last week, if you botch it up, the worst you've lost is a piece of paper and a few hours of work. So don't worry about that. It's more important to have a go, and if you do make a mistake, learn from the mistakes, learn what you did incorrect that time, and you don't replicate it the next time you have a go. But if you stay in your comfort zone and you don't have a go at these things, then you're never going to really advance and improve on where you currently are. So, as you can see from this first part, started putting in the eyes, started putting some of the darkness in there, started to try and build up the values to give it a 3D feel to the face. I'm now going to switch this off and then speed the video up so you can watch the rest of the face develop over the course of the next hour or so that it takes me to do this, and then I'll catch you on the summing up part. Alright, we're back again. So you've watched the sped up part now of the video. So you've seen me put all the shaded areas onto here, start building up all the value. It's still quite rough at this point because, as I've mentioned before, I'm working a lot quicker on this than I normally would on a piece like this kind of level of detail. So what I'm going to do now, because I actually have to get a bit closer to the piece and my head's going to get in the way of the camera, I will put all the little bits of detail, all the little nuances to the skin and things like that on there off camera, so it's not dragging the video out any longer, but it gives me a chance to actually get a bit closer to the page and put those little bits of detail in there just to finish it off. So I'm going to work into the eyes. I'm going to darken up these hoods so they really are, it's quite a very much pronounced brow that you would expect for your Frankenstein, particularly the Boris Karloff one. So I'll darken certain areas, put those bits of detail on the skin, but in the meantime, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with us. By all means subscribe if you haven't. If you're one of the lurkers out there, just hit subscribe. It's going to cost you nothing, but it means the world to me, so please do that. Give me your suggestions, give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next video. But until then, all the best, look after yourselves, and catch you on the next one. Cheers, bye bye.